Call the regular meeting of the Lake Orion Village Council for Monday, January 26, 2026 to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
President Rutt,
Here.
Pro Tem Ford,
Here.
Councilmember Dandelides,
Here.
Councilmember Lamb,
Here.
Councilmember Mosher,
Here.
and Councilmember Papachek.
Here.
You have a quorum.
I move to excuse Mr. Camperoni.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have no presentations today. Item 5, call to the public. Each person wishing to address the village council should be afforded an opportunity to do so. If you wish to comment, please give your name, raise your hand, stand to indicate you wish to speak. When recognized, give your name, address, direct your comments to the chair, and note that comments are limited to 4 minutes. Is there anyone for call to the public? Seeing none, I will close call to the public. Item number 6, approval of the agenda by order of the president. No matters will be discussed after 10:30 p.m. unless the council votes to continue the meeting. Council. Mr. Dandelides.
So that's a typo. It's supposed to be 9:30.
Oh, yeah, it is 9:30, and I read it wrong. Yep.
Change that.
Good
But
catch.
that's not why I raised my hand.
Yeah.
So I would like to add an agenda item, and that agenda item would be continuation of the goals and objectives discussion that we had in the previous hour. Recognizing that we have a very, very short agenda tonight, I think it would be prudent use of the time. And I will include in that motion that we limit it to an hour just in case, although I don't think it'll take that long, but I will suggest that we limit it to an hour.
Is that a motion?
It is.
Support. Oh, you took my support.
So we have a motion and support. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 7, consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda are approved by one vote. Item A, Orion Community Cable Communications Commission proposed 2026 budget joint resolution. Item B, approval of Village Council special meeting minutes, January 12, 2026. Item C, approval of Village Council regular meeting minutes, January 12, 2026. Item D, receive and file DDA regular meeting minutes of December 16, 2025. E, receive and file of DDA informational meeting minutes, December 16, 2025. Item F, approval of the special event Ice Fest. Item G, receive and file of invoice distribution report for January 27, 2026. Item H, receive and file of Orion Township Building Permit Report from December 15, 2025 to January 15, 2026. And item I, extend term appointments for Ad Hoc Legal Services Review Committee. Council. Mr. Dandelides.
I'd like to pull down H, receive and file Orion Township Building Permit Report, please.
Then I will move to approve the consent agenda with the removal of item H.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So item H, receive and file Orion Township Building Permit Report from December 15, 2025 to January 15, 2026. Mr. Dandelides.
Yeah, so I've noticed that this list, this monthly report, has been in the last couple of consent agendas, and I'm assuming that this is a result of the committee that got together with the township on the permit process. So I saw these and there was no explanation, so I just thought I'd ask, is that what happened? And this is more for transparency and clarity than anything else?
I do know that Mr. Goodlow said that he would be sending us more information on a regular basis. So whether it's this specific thing, but he did say he was going to be giving us more information. on
Yeah,
a
we
regular
got our
basis.
planning report, right?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
they started adding this so that we would know what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay. So I move to receive and file the Orion Township Building Permit Report from December 15th to January 15th, 2026.
Support? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 10A, noted delegate resignation and appointments. Mr. Edmondson.
Thank you, Your Honor. The Village of Lake Orion is a participating government in the North Oakland Transportation Authority, NODA, which provides regional transportation services to Addison Township, Orion Township, Oxford, the villages of Leonard, Oxford, and Lake Orion. Pursuant to Section 3B2 of the Intergovernmental Contracted Services Agreement, each participating government is required to appoint a governmental member to the NODA board and may also appoint alternate governmental members, can be plural. Alternate members are authorized to serve as voting members in the absence of the primary representative or when a vacancy exists. The village council, this village council has, or previous village council has previously appointed Councilmember Mosher as its primary NODA representative and Councilmember Ford as its alternative representative. On January 15th, 2026, Councilmember Mosher notified the village administration of her need to resign from her role as the village's primary NODA governmental member. And as a result, action is required by this council to appoint a new primary governmental member and, if necessary, designate and appoint an alternate governmental member or members. Appointing a primary NODA governmental member ensures uninterrupted participation on the NODA board and preserves the village's voting authority on the regional transportation matters and maintains compliance with the NODA intergovernmental agreement. And there's two motions for you to consider.
Actually,
I'm sorry.
three.
I'm sorry, three motions. I didn't
Yeah.
scroll down. Three motions to consider.
Thank you. Council.
I'll volunteer to take the seat if no one else wants it.
Well, our first motion, I'll make the first motion to accept the resignation of Member Mosher as the village's primary governmental member to the North Oakland Transportation Authority Board effective January 26, 2026.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And thank you, Ms. Mosher, for all the service that you've given to the NODA board. I know Stan is our alternate right now. Sounds like Mr. Lamb is willing to step into that unless you want to fight him for that.
We still need an alternate, so I'm free on Thursdays, every Thursday for the rest of the year. Thursday's one of my free days, so, and it's close, so I don't mind.
And then I can stand as alternate.
You know, I think Alex skipped today, so I wouldn't try to put it on him because he has two alternate positions, and I was like, I could. So if that's good for both of you, unless anybody else really desperately wants it. So then I'll make the motion to appoint Mike Lamb as the primary governmental member to the NODA board to serve at the pleasure of the council and act as a voting member.
Support.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Could I just say one thing?
Yeah.
And I'm really sorry that I can't continue to be on that committee. There's just too much going on, and I can't commit to once a month. So I enjoyed it while I was there, but I'm sure Mr. Lamb will take up my place and do fine.
So then I don't think we need a third motion because you are already the alternate. So it will stand as is. So thank you to both Mr. Lamb and Mr. Ford for serving in those. So then item 10B, continued goals and objectives discussion. So when we left off under promote a positive community image.
Mr. President?
Yes.
I'd
Oh, yeah,
like
we
to-
need to
I
suspend
would
the
like to
rules.
move to,
Yeah.
well, you have ESP. I'd like to
know.
move to suspend the regular village council meeting rules for the period of this agenda item.
Support, and note that suspension of the rules does require a two-thirds vote. I read Robert's rules again, so.
You'll have free time, don't you? Maybe.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So the goal that we are currently on is goal number 3, promote a positive community image. We've talked about the first one, promote positive collaborative working relationships with the DDA Township, focusing on common objectives, leadership capabilities, and adequate funding. And fine leaving that as is.
I don't like that. And I'll tell you why. Okay. This year, with the committee work and everything, I've spent so much time with the DDA director, the township people, and I think we have a wonderful relationship. Like most recently with the building review committee where we met with it was a wonderful meeting. So I don't like the phrasing. Because we all do get along. We don't all agree. Okay, so some people consider that to be a negative, but I don't. I think we all get along. We don't have to like each other. So I would propose we just remove it. Because we already have a wonderful, I mean, which of you council members don't have a good relationship with the township people? I go down there and laugh and joke, and so to me, I don't want to work on something that already exists. I don't want to question. We have 3 independent organizations. We have the township, we have the village, and we have the DDA. And I take it upon myself to do these things. I don't think we need to be telling ourselves that we're not doing that, because I think we are already doing this, and it's just part of a regular existence. So why are we saying that there's a fault or a defect in these relationships? No, there may be a disagreement on our plans, purposes, and operational methods, but I think we all collaborate and work together and have a lovely, lovely time here. And so that's my opinion, okay? So.
And I would say, I think I respectfully disagree with that. I think, and not the whole thing, I do think we have good working relationships, but I disagree in the fact that I don't think this is written in a negative way of like, we don't do this, but it's a constant reminder to us all. And, you know, we do have times where the collaboration breaks down. But then I think like what we did with the township and the building processes and the permitting process, you know, that was us collaborating and working together on those common objectives. So I don't think it's saying that we're not doing this, but it's more of a, let's continue to do this.
It's really not a goal and objective, though, for work by the council. That's the point. We're looking for these smart, it would be more like if you want to move it up to our mission values, our core values, and add it into the core values or our mission statement, but it's not something that we're specifically measuring, achieving, and, you know, and time bounding. It's not a working, it's more of a, you know, a spiritual type thing. I'd like to move it to a different place than a work item. I don't think it's a work item, and I can keep it, but just don't.
Well, and if we're looking at a goal and we're looking at, is it measurable? How are we measuring that? How are we going to measure that? And is it achievable? So, you know, we're looking at this, I've written goals my entire life, and I don't know how we would measure that. That's, you know, we're looking at a goal, we have to look at whether we can measure it, and I don't see how we can do that.
Mr. Danielidis?
So a couple of things. First of all, Michael, I've been to multiple meetings with the DDA that you have not attended and have witnessed very specific comments from the DDA and the DDA board on the lack of cooperation and the lack of working together between the village and not only the council but administration in working together with the DDA. And I can show you screenshots from a meeting. We had a 2-day workshop, 2-day offsite that Teresa and I attended as council members last year. Screenshots that were on, you know, on the boards that, you know, everybody was kind of writing their observations down on, that were very, very specific to the lack of a good working relationship. So I've been involved in situations personally where that absolutely contradict what, you know, your observation is. I've had similar conversations with folks from the township, and I can tell you that I think that the meeting that happened between actually the 3 of you and the township on the permitting was a result of the lack of working relationship, and that meeting was definitely a step in the right direction in shoring some of that up. And I agree, Nancy, with what you said from a SMART standpoint, and I think I confessed to that before I started reading it, that I recognized that I violated my own suggestion, and I would love to get input on how do we put some meat around whatever actions we can take that can be measurable, because I'm telling you, we don't have that great of a working relationship. And we need,
George, I understand that you would like to manage the relationships between Mr. Gibb and Mr. McCleary, okay? But as I mentioned earlier, they're distinct and separate organizations, and the two administrators of these organizations need to work these things out amongst themselves.
and
What
when
I'm
we
saying to
can,
you
we
is
have
our
an
staff-
obligation to manage it.
Our staff is always willing, welcome, and happy to meet with the DDA and work with them on the programs, okay? So I don't want to create a sense of we're not trying to work together. We have disagreements, but I'm not going to say that there's a problem. I don't see a problem. What I see is a lack of authority by the village council to dictate to the DDA. So-
I'm not suggesting we dictate to the DDA.
What I'm saying is that I'm fine with my relationship with the DDA, and
No, you're not.
I'm
You
fine.
don't realize it, but you're not.
I'm fine with the DDA. I'm fine with my relationship with the township. Okay? I don't go to their meetings because I don't have any business there. Okay? I fully understand what they're doing and everything. So what I'm saying is I don't have a goal. I don't see a goal and objective to this statement. It's the same thing with all the communities, okay? Promote positive collaborative working relations with both the DDA and the township. Well, we have those relationships, they exist. Well, how would you like to change them? What is the objectified result? What would you like to tell someone to do? Because this council's relationship with the township and the DDA is fine.
Okay, I'm going to give you what I would consider to be a good example, and it's happening right now. We've got a DPW that has snow plows, salting equipment, and people that are driving around this village plowing parking lots, right? And we've got a DDA that's contracted with a third party to do the same work on parking lots that are controlled by, owned and/or leased by the DDA. We talked about this back in May, right? We talked about it again almost by surprise at the December DDA meeting. And at the January DDA meeting, the DDA board approved Matt's recommendation to continue with a third party. And I don't believe that goes to the end of the season.
George,
So
I was-
that's,
I was-
to me, that's a prime example of where we are not working together.
No, you don't obviously have a full understanding of what transpired at all those meetings. And I was there, and the DDA chose to not accept.
You weren't there, I
Yeah,
was
the-
there.
the
I was there at the
DDA
last two, and you were not there.
The DDA chose to not accept the village as their snow plowing contractor. Okay? They did not negotiate a contract. Done deal. Budget time is over.
Okay, Stop
Please
it.
let me finish. So so what I'm saying to you is because what you don't want to happen or you don't like what's happening, that's not an objective and goal for this council to work on. That would be something for you to discuss with the village manager, okay?
so,
Just one second.
Okay.
I don't want to continue to get in the weeds of, let's debate and argue on who's,
no,
but
sorry.
what we can say is, this is, a whole council thing. We can, and this is not the final form of the goals. We have another work session that we can show up, because some of these that we have on here don't fully align with SMART goals yet. So what this council needs to decide is if this is a goal for the majority to leave on, and then we can
So
continue to
my
work.
last point
workshop
I'll
it.
finish is, George's comments about the contracts and the snow plowing, they're all those things that he's complained about are under the other job item about working out the duplicate systems and things. So I think that your specific concern is already addressed in your other issue that we put in the goals of objectives about finding, redundancies. Snowplow is a perfect example, those kinds of things, okay? As long as the cash is worked out properly. So I'm fine. My only objection to this is I don't think it's an objection. I don't think it's a goal and a goal for the council. It may be, okay, that's all. So you guys?
Ms. Mosher?
Okay, so I agree, this should not be a goal, it's not measurable. You can't measure how to promote a positive community image. How do you measure that? You don't. There's no way to measure it. And, we're looking at this SMART framework. Like I said, 30 years I've been writing goals and objectives for my kids, and this is not measurable. So I do not think it should be a goal. Is it something that is important? Yes, but it's not measurable, nor will it ever be. You can't measure a positive community image. What are you going to do? How are you going to do that? So I do not feel it should be one of the goals. Period.
I very much think it should be one of the goals, because even though we have good relationships in some places, it doesn't exist in every way.
But how do you measure
But with that
it?
said, again, we can still wordsmith the workshop. This isn't the final form, because some of these aren't fully in their final form, I don't think. We do have another meeting. So with that, what I would like to do is ask for this specific one, each council member, if they would like to keep it on, to get consensus. So I've heard from Mr. Lamb that you do not want this on, correct?
I would like to move it to a different location. That's all.
Mr. Ford?
I don't mind keeping it on. I think once it comes under the scrutiny of the SMART framework, it might be something that we remove then. But we have to get those things in place. So keep it on, and then when we go through that process, if it doesn't work, then maybe then move it to the core value part, which there already is a teamwork. We can add a little bit to that. So I don't mind keeping it on in that respect.
I would like to keep it on.
I would.
Ms. Mosher? I
No.
know you do not. Mr. Papchak?
Yeah, I guess when I looked at this goal the first time, I honed in on community image. Because what I hear and see a lot, do you guys read the Lake Orion chat room?
No.
Yeah.
I see it more like some of my points down there. It's more the community as an issue with trust and what are we doing and why are our rates going up and is there shady stuff going on here, right? You hear and read it all, right? So I took it more as image with our residents. I don't hear so much, I mean, I see it because I watch the videos and I attend some of the meetings. I don't hear people griping about we don't get along with the township, the village, and the DDA. I don't hear it as much. It's there a little bit, but I took it more as the community image with the residents and some of that lack of trust, transparency, approachability. So I don't know. I think I'm fine leaving it if we can find a way to quantify it. The ways we do it at my work, and maybe it's not appropriate in a community, we do surveys, right? Everyone's got a little survey thing to click out, and there are things they measure called like net promoter score, right? It's a simple question. Would you recommend living in the village of Lake Orion to a friend, right? Simple question, rate it there. Or net momentum score, right? Do you feel like the village is moving in the right direction? I mean, there's a little quick survey monkey. You could pop something out there and try to get a pulse of the community and put a number or target out there to try to measure it. How is your image and the things you're doing? But I took it as more of resident feedback and what do they think of us?
So would it fit better than under the last goal, promote efficient and effective municipal operations, since it's collaborative there? So then we'll keep it and we'll move it down to that section. So that will be goal 3, 4, 5. So that'll be under goal 5, but I'll reiterate that when we get there. So then, remaining under promote a positive community image, improve approachability and transparency, Mr. Pepchick.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of touched on some of those things. Those are the things I hear is, you know, it would be great. I get a couple emails every once in a while. I'd like to hear more because I want to know what people are talking about and what they think the issues are instead of us just, you know, identifying our issues. You know, you want to get more of the community feedback. But yeah, and I don't know if it's just a few loud voices in social media, but yeah, the trust, transparency, connection up here, yeah, there's a little bit lacking there. And maybe it's people upset about water bills and costs of living here, and what do I get for all these thousands of dollars I pay in taxes? It feels like there's something there. I can't maybe quite pinpoint it, but feels like room for improvement, I guess. And I think some of that was addressed, I hope, you know, in some of the last year's goals, right, with administrative office hours, inclement weather, you know, I think providing better service, maybe it's further down, yeah, professional friendly service. Maybe that's how we operate a little bit and maybe not as much of an objective, but I don't know, those are kind of my thoughts there.
I think I agree with you. I'm just trying to wrap my head around the how, you know?
Right.
Again, one of those like big vision, like, but how do we do that?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Yeah, and we can put some more teeth to that, but,
Yeah, and on all these, the way I think of it is, yeah, what's the goal? The goal is like a big statement or something, and then it's, as we'll get into it, all the tactics, how
Yeah.
do you get to those goals, and what do you want to do to achieve something there, progress? Yeah.
are there council comments on that one?
It's all good. I mean, it's all good. I understand everybody, and I just want to make sure our focus doesn't wander off from the CIP and the very difficult funding issues. Let's get away from the fighting. Let's just talk about the money, okay? That's what the residents are concerned about currently, the money, the taxes and the payments.
So we'll leave that on unless anybody has a strong objection. That'll be 3.1 under promote positive community image, improve approachability and transparency. The next one, strengthen community pride and connection. Mr. Pepchick.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. It feels like it's one of those with the community image. Maybe it belongs under goal 4 somewhere. I don't know that there's a specific action or something to take there, but, you know, it's crossed my mind. You see other communities doing it. How do we engage with the community a little bit better and connect with them? And maybe you got to do it more on an individual basis, a coffee thing, or, you know, just hearing more feedback from the community and getting more connection, I guess. That might be more of an individual thing, I guess, than maybe a council goal.
Yeah, I feel like it would take something like, you know how people do different, I mean, the DDA, for example, is doing the Illuminators, the volunteer group. That's something you can rally around and people can join up and feel a sense of connection and pride in doing that. But
Yeah,
I feel like this would need something like that, some type of initiative
right.
for that.
Yeah, and a lot of these were just kind of thoughts I had as I was going through. As I look at everybody else's and last year goals, I don't want to have 30 goals. So I'm
Yeah.
fine, you
Okay.
know, limiting it to a manageable amount.
So the next one, unless somebody has strong opinions on that one that they need to still share, deliver consistent, professional, friendly service.
Yeah, kind of the same thing here, just more of the way we operate and maybe more of the values and type of, yeah, the way we come to work or,
Yeah, I mean, we used to have quite an extensive, I don't know if you remember, Teresa, but remember, we used to have quite an extensive litany
Oh.
of values and stuff. And
We made
we,
a 4-page goal list and objectives.
yeah, and so we reduced it. And so these core values, we really beat it down. And last year, we took our goals and objectives to actual action items.
yeah.
So to see them pop up again is just, I'm just trying to beat them down. don't take any of this personal, because I just want us to be, we did such a good job last year maintaining focus. I would like to see another year of that.
Yeah.
And this, I think, is almost verbatim reflected in under core values, effective service. Trendsetters and value timely, courteous, cooperative, responsive, efficient, and effective public service. So.
Yeah, perfect, yep.
And then the last one, under that section, reflect a positive village identity and support services to residents that are unique to the village. Mr. Ford.
I think I might go from, if you'll allow me, to go down and I want to make sure that we are supporting the services that the residents that are unique to the village, that the residents have appreciated in the past. And if I go down to the very last one, under efficient and effective municipal operations, to enhance and support DPW, because these are things that the residents see. DPW, the police, and instead of DOA, I think that should be DDA. This whole thing might be dead on arrival, but right now, DDA, in their ability to service our residents. Because that's what's visible. Now, with that, we're gonna have maybe, well, I'll put that in there. And then if I go up to the next one under recreation services, environmental stewardship, enhancements to Children's Park, and the bridge replacement we've talked about, bank stabilization, there's still things that need to be done. But again, those are visible things that I think we need to make sure that we keep on. So under that objective, reflect a positive village identity, the things that are extremely visible, and support services to residents that are unique to the village. So I think DPW, police, the DDA are unique things to us. Keeping some of those services. I know we went through a thing with the leaf collection, and we've realized that people value that. Well, I want people to, and this is also a way to reflect, what am I getting for my village tax dollars? These are the things that you can latch onto and see. So when I justify my village taxes, I look at these things. And when out in the township, they are often, I've seen numerous things where they say, well, why don't we get leaf pickup? Why don't we get, these things? And I think that generally speaking, the smaller government that we offer, it can be more responsive to the village residents, and maybe that's part of it. I want to be more responsive. The farther we move up, the less responsive government can be to a smaller group. So in a way, I've kind of hit most of mine, because I want to promote the things that are very visible. So now, and then that objective, reflect the positive village identity, support services, it can be measurable because of Children's Park, the bridge replacement, bank stabilization, the DPW, supporting those things. And I put down, the DPW building's been on the docket, it's part of the CIP, security cameras, lumberyard development. Those are measurable things that would then reflect on that positive village identity and support services. So how do we put that on there?
You said a lot and hit like 4 different goals.
Well, that's-
So I'm trying to process right now, like, are we keeping all of them? Are we tweaking? Are we,
It can maybe be put all under one.
Okay.
In that the positive village identity support services to residents that are unique to the village, and then put in the recreational services underneath that as a way to measure that. Put in the enhance and support DPW, police, and DDA as a way to measure that.
So it's another community, feeling and, gathering and getting together with our flag, which is fine. Now remember, the bridge replacement, the bank stabilization, those are all CIP things adopted in the CIP plan, so we don't need to put them here as objectives because they're already in the CIP plan, so.
My only thought was it just is a way to measure that though too, because those are measurable things, but.
But the CIP, we're redundantly doing the CIP, so we're just, I agree with you, Stan, that providing villages services is a measurable quantity. When people say, what do they get? We can go out and say, what do you get? And they say, well, we get the parks, we get the new swing set, we got, so you can measure that, okay? I agree with you on that. It's a lot of words here. We could maybe mix them in with George's words and Eric's words and you know, try to get the wheat and the chaff in separate paragraphs like you were doing, Teresa. So you want to, you know, we can rearrange and rewrite, like you said.
You could,
Mr. Dendelitis.
I think that you're right. They're redundant from the standpoint that they're included in the CIP. However, I would make an argument that by making them specific in a goal kind of solidifies the priority in the CIP and ensures that it puts time frame around it and that it's something that we all, it becomes a goal now and it's something that we all pinky swear we're going to make it happen this year.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a meeting with the CIP plan. We're going to do the exact redundant thing. We're going to go over the CIP, and Darwin's going to say, what do you want to prioritize first? And we're going to have to prioritize and finance all the operations. So I'm just trying to keep it small. Like I said, last year we had like 2 pages, right?
I think I may lean towards just taking off the reflect a positive village identity, because the other ones are broken out into concrete things that does support that. I would support, and we did leave it on in our first, you know, from last year, the Children's Park pedestrian bridge, because it was a goal last year and didn't get done. And also the bank stabilization, I would support leaving that on there for looking at that item too, because we've been talking about it for a long time, and, you know, I can walk down to Meeks Park and show you where it's really, like, it's critical that we get that done. And so we've been talking about bank stabilization for years, and yeah, it's critical. So, yeah, I think I would maybe just take off the one under promote a positive community image if we're trying to pare down, just because that one is wrapped up into some of these others.
Were we still on positive
Yeah.
community image? Okay.
So I'm guessing, Mr. Ford, how do you?
would you repeat what you just finished with? With the,
I would support leaving the other ones under the other items kind of as more as is, but maybe eliminating just reflect a positive village identity and support services to residents that are unique to the village, because they are wrapped up in the other ones specifically.
yeah, and you could even move the other two up under that too, for that matter.
Yeah.
Because that's the objective. Besides hitting the quality recreation services, the idea is to, if we do that, then I think we can put them all of these under promote positive community image, because that's what it does.
Yeah.
So we can consolidate that way.
And we might even just be able to take off that promote positive community image goal as a whole and move Mr. Papachek's improve approachability and transparency down to effective municipal operations. And then it just eliminates a goal heading
Yeah, so
that I
anything
think.
to reduce the paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead, so that now becomes, I'll have to give you a different number for that in a minute when we get down to it. So then it moves us on to promote quality recreation services and environmental stewardship. So we've talked about the bridge replacement and bank stabilization. If anybody has anything else to add to that. Otherwise, on our last year's, we're paring it down, objective 3.1, which was lake drawdown, to talk about the drawdown structure repair, and that links under the environmental stewardship. So if anybody has suggestions on what we want to do for that goal and objective before we go back to the other one of Mr. Ford's.
We were just going to discuss repairing the outlet structure. That's the main issue over there, is financial, is the outlet structure. The rest of the stuff,
Yeah.
you know, it's just, we're never going to do much of anything with it. And
So goal, promote quality recreation services and environmental stewardship. That headline is now 3 instead of 4. And so we'll have the bridge, Children's Park Bridge and bank stabilization, I guess that goes to Meeks as well, as 3.1. And then 3.2 will be, could you repeat that, Mr. Lamb? Just investigate the drawdown structure repair?
Yeah, just, yes, investigate, finish, whatever the requirements are for that gate, right, Wes, the damaged gate? Yeah,
Investigate and plan for drawdown structure
yeah.
repair.
I mean, that one might lead to elimination, but it's.
Right,
we
it's
need to-
there, yeah.
We need to quantify it and dollarify it.
So that's 3.2, investigate, plan for drawdown structure repair. We can wordsmith that at the future meeting. And then also under, making sure I'm not forgetting anything from this page, we have promote and support increased funding for parks and recreation programs. Is that one we still want to make the cut?
What did we decide to do with that?
Well, when we were talking, it's kind of our initial first round of last year's, we
Yeah.
said we'd leave it and then consider them all together. So do we still want to write down and add, promote and support increased funding for parks and recreations programs?
And I thought we had put some specifics around that from a, I think we talked about the Atwater basketball court, the things that we want to do with the docks over here at Meeks Park, the shade sails. So I think we talked about putting some, some
Yeah.
specifics around there with timing to make sure that we got those done this year.
Is that specifics for the committee to submit to the council, or is that?
We've already submitted to the
Yeah.
council.
So then we are submitting them
We want
during
to execute it.
Yeah, during the budget sessions.
Yeah,
Well, if they're budget items, they're budget items, so that's the whole, so this is, that stuff's already engaged and approved and in process. So if you just want to push Parks agenda, well, whatever. This is for us to work
I mean,
on stuff. So
it
it's
could-
already it's already in process and paid for, correct?
Not all of them are.
yeah, not all
paid
of
for.
it, not the
basketball
basketball
court is.
court, not all of it.
Yeah, so
The other things, I believe we've got covered.
So it could be ensure request for funding for parks and recreation programming is considered during budget sessions.
yeah, I mean, I like the.
To make.
I like the part about seeking additional funds for the parks. That's the part
Yeah.
I like. I don't know if we have the funds available in the budget, but that's the part I don't mind keeping, because I kept saying we still
Yeah.
haven't finished our initiative to go to looking for the parks millage money, if we can get some of that sort. So, yeah, no, I support the initiative
See,
too.
I think the way that I look at this is we
money.
put these in our goals, and then when we're sitting down looking at the budget, okay, we make sure that these things are included in the budget, and the rationale for that is they're in support of the goals that we agreed that we were going to do.
The
So it
priorities.
all kind of meshes, it all supports each other.
Well, I mean, you just put all the park stuff into one little,
Well, I would say, like I said, this is still, this is round one, and when we leave today, my hope is that we would each consider these different ones that we've pared down to, and then put a little bit more flesh and bones on them, some concreteness, smartify them a little bit more. So I think I'll leave that right now as 3.3, promote and support increased fundings for parks and recreation programming. And then the last one under that from Mr. Ford was investigate the benefits and costs of being a voting member of the Paint Creek Trailways Commission and seek key stakeholder input.
I think we can probably take that one off. At one of the Paint Creek Trail meetings, they're investigating ways, because their budget is off also, and one of the ways that was mentioned, not necessarily in that commission, but by the trail commissioner to me, is would the village be interested? The more I ask her, well, how would we benefit more than we already do? I mean, we're at the end of the line, and people are going to come out here whether we're a member or not. And there wasn't a great answer. But I just wanted to bring it up in front so that I can go back there if they ask me again. I can say, well, we've talked about it and we've
Okay.
refused, because it'll be the current fee, if you will,
Cost.
$18,000 to be a voting member, and then an additional fee based on the amount of the trail that is in the village. That's what the current stakeholders have. I think we can do a good job of promoting the Paint Creek Trail and et cetera, without being a member. So we can take that one off,
Okay.
if people are in agreement.
Yeah, take it out.
Yep.
Okay.
So the last headline, promote efficient and effective municipal operations. So 4.1 now will be the positive collaborative working relationships. 4.2 will be improve approachability and transparency. And then we have 2 more to consider.
What was
So
the first one, Teresa? I'm
would be
sorry.
the positive collaborative working relationships with DDA Township, common objectives. So the first one for Mr. Dandelides under positive community image originally.
Okay, I'm now good with that.
Okay.
It's in the right category,
then-
down at the bottom.
And then 4.2 is the approachability and transparency. So the next one to consider is continue looking at staff needs, additional staffing to handle building inspections in-house. Mr. Ford.
I think I think these were kind of submitted before we, staff needs, we've added staff already, so I think that can be taken off. Additional staff, at one point, we talked about the building inspections in-house, but I don't know if that's still relevant because of our agreement that we have.
So the last committee meeting, we agreed to do a 6-month
Yeah.
probationary period, remember? So
Yeah.
we're kind of like,
So-
we're under agreement now, so we
Yeah.
should probably
So
not.
we can take
Yeah.
that off.
And then the last one, enhance and support DPW, police, and DDA in their ability to service our residents, DPW building, security cameras, lumberyard development.
And can that be put, well, I can see where it's for effective municipal operations. I think I'd like to keep it somewhere. I used it under the idea that if we do that, then we are promoting positive community image. We're strengthening our community connection, et cetera, because, this is a measurable, more of a measurable thing.
Well, they're kind of the face of interacting of our village.
It's all stuff that we've talked about at some point,
Yeah.
but not all of it has been done yet.
Yeah, I don't know if you need to include the DPW building, security camera, lumberyard development. I like the part that says enhance and support DPW police and the DOA in their ability to service our residents. That's great, but like I said, once again, those projects, I don't know if we need a new DPW building. I don't know if we need security cameras.
And it's something that we would discuss if it's part of our goal and agenda down the line. I put it in there as a way to measure those things. And it's something that has been on the docket before, and we haven't finalized it. So it's just, those are examples of that objective.
Yeah, I appreciate the concrete examples of this is how, as George was saying earlier about, if we leave it on there, we've just said, these are the budgetary now priorities. Are these the ones? Maybe they are, maybe they're not.
And there, again, examples, maybe there's more.
Yeah.
But I think it can fit the SMART framework too because of those
Yes.
being on there, so.
No, the lumberyard is a DDA project, and the DPW building is only a dream far into the future.
Well, again, those are things that we can talk about, and we can, I'm not, we may come up that those aren't the things that we're.
No, it's
we're
okay.
gonna do.
I don't need them on there. I don't need
Yeah.
anything other than what we're going to work on this year on this list. So that's why I keep repeating. It's okay. I only want on here what we're going to work on this year. The dream list is for the dream. We should have another list, I think, called, things
I
to
think
think about in the future.
CIP is
list.
the dream list.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I mean, that's why I keep bringing it up. We never had a CIP before, so I don't want to muddy these things, that's all. Just keep it simple. KISS, that's the one, right? Yeah, kiss
So-
and smart, be smart, kiss everything, and we'll be good.
So I would say perhaps keep it as objective 4.3, enhance and support DPW, police, DDA in their ability to service residents. And as we go home and figure out if there is a priority from our CIP that we want to get done this year as part of that,
That's fine, that's what I
let's
said,
bring
so-
it back to the next discussion and say, actually,
Right.
this is the bullet point that I would like us to talk about
Yeah.
as the objective measure under there. I think,
Okay, I just had one other,
oh,
so,
and we have one more from, sorry, we have one more from last year's that we still haven't talked about, and that's ordinance enforcement, or the ordinance codification, engineering standards, enhance enforcement efforts. Are those ones we still would like to include, and if so, where?
those are the ones we said we should split,
Yes.
okay? And so those are, is that efficient government?
I would say codification would be, because we need, and probably engineering standards would fit under efficient.
Efficient and effective
Yeah.
municipal operations, right? So what was the other one? I can't keep any notes.
And then the other one is enhance enforcement efforts.
Yeah, that's same, effective
Yeah.
municipal operations, and they're on the table. All those things have been on the table, so.
So.
The one, so I didn't submit any CIP stuff in my, because I figured we'd talk about it. And so I just wanted to make sure, to stay on topic, that I had everybody printed out a copy of the, since it's our biggest money item, the sewer. So I just want to identify these documents when you take them home. The first one is a 2004 contract with Oakland County for the sewers. All right, and that was a $9 million estimate and agreement. So in 2023, December 2023, we signed this agreement, the council signed an agreement with the total project cost of the sewers at $9,163,000, okay? And then, after that document, the next document is the project cost estimate for the Phase 1, okay? And then, there's the resolution where we approve the contract. And then, and here's the Phase 1, so the final total for Phase 1 in the contract, so Phase 1 costs $3,498,000 for Phase 1 alone. And just so everybody understands, we paid for that with the bonds. And so the huge sewer increase was to pay for the, sewage costs, but to pay for that bond. Now, the free money, which is the federal grant of 1.7 million approximately, and there's a little county grant for 100 grand, that's going to come back and reimburse our fund. So even though we're paying for the bond, and we sold the bond, it cost $3 million. So that credit will pretty much be applied to Phase 2 and 3 in this grand scheme of charging the people. So what led me to get these documents for you guys to look at is because I got a memorandum from our engineer. Now, you understand that the original contract for Phase 1, 2, and 3 was $9 million. So our first estimate here, total cost from our engineer for just Phases 2 and 3 is $12 million. So that means the total project cost is now at $15 million from the original debt cost of $9 million. So some preliminary figures, the sewer bills are gonna go up another 100, I'm estimating based on these figures and preliminary discussions, the sewer bills are gonna go up $160 a quarter this year. Okay? I also want another $160 a quarter, so it's a lot of money. It's like $800,000 in interest, for the bond payments. So that being said, I wanted to send these home with you when we're reviewing our goals and objectives. What are we going to do about this? So I got all this stuff from the DPW and from the engineer. They mailed this. And I've got nothing to say about it, and here's the stuff. One other thing. Originally, when we did this project, I told everybody, not most of you guys, I said, if we split this project into 3 phases, the costs are going to double, okay? Because nobody wanted to take the hit for $8 million, $9 million right up the get-go, okay? So this year, we're going to have to decide whether we're going to engage Phase 2, or we're going to do Phase 2 and 3 all at the same time. So I'm going to promise you, like all my promises I make to my council brothers, if we keep splitting the project up, the costs are going to go up some more. So I told you so. Now it's a lot more money now, and the sewer rates are going up. And it's not looking good, folks. When George keeps talking about the CIP and our goals and objectives and looking at the big picture, right now the village council approved criteria is to charge the citizens for everything, okay? Our approved, council-approved protocol and procedures allow the village manager to raise the sewer and water rates to pay for all this stuff, allows him to special assess all the homeowners extra money, okay? There is nothing in our procedures protocol or our legislation that provides for us to do anything to reduce the taxpayer burden. And I would think that our number one goal and objective, and it's in there someplace, is to reduce the financial burden of basic services for our residents. And however we accomplish that, and one of the other council members continually quotes, I want to take the emotional crap out of this and look at the hard picture for everybody. You know, gentrification, I think, is the word. So that's all I got to say about goals and objectives. I'm done.
I do want to go back to make sure that Lindsay had captured 4.4 would be ordinance codification, 4.5 final engineering standards, and 4.6 enhanced enforcement efforts. And I have written them all down. If you need me to read through them, or if you've got them all, are you good? Should I read through are you good?
I think I got it.
Okay, just making sure, because I have arrows all over my paper. Does anybody else have anything else to say about goals and objectives, anything to add, anything? So my encouragement then would be to take these, again, our clerk will get them written out a little bit more neatly than my chicken scratch paper here. But to go back then and think through the ones that we have put on our papers as goals for this year, and be specific, put a little bit more flesh on those, making sure they're goals for this year. I do want to open up to public comment about these goals and objectives, if there's any public comment on them.
Before we do that,
Yeah.
so Lindsay, you're going to kind of go through and clean this up.
Yes.
So is the expectation that we're going to get that and then individually go through and try and mark it up, or try and wordsmith, so to speak, individually, and then
Yes.
resubmit that?
Our
How do
next.
you want to do it?
Our next meeting, scheduled meeting for this
It's 2 weeks from
is
tonight.
2 weeks from tonight. So I would say come to the meeting ready to, because I don't want to burden the clerk with trying to get everything and submit them and stuff. So come to the meeting ready to help us flesh these out a little bit more. And, you know, do they have legs to stand on as a smart goal for this year? What specifically are we going to do? Are we requesting from the budget in order to do this? That kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Support.
Rosemary Ford, 225 North Broadway, and listening to what it is all of you are working at, I just want to say thank you, because the task, as always, for those of you that are serving, is not easy. So I want you to know that I appreciate you basically giving of your time, because I don't think people realize you and the school boards are kind of like a voluntary position. Because when you get paid $10 a meeting, and you're willing to, because you care about the community, tackle these things. So I know it's an arduous project, but keep plugging ahead, and eventually we'll get there. So thank you.
With that then, got to find my agenda, because I, shuffled it with everything else. That, oh, just a sec, my mouse, there we go. That would be the end of that. So with that, I'll open the call to public on any other item. A closed call to the public, and item 12, DDA Executive Director comments. Mr. Gibb.
Good evening, everyone. Good to see you. Yeah, it'll be shorter than that, Mr. Lamb.
Okay, thank you. Bless.
Yeah. I echo my good friend, Ms. Ford, hard work. It is hard work. So you're more appreciated than all of you know amongst the community, not just the business side and those that might work here, but it's difficult work, but you're making a good go of it. I would encourage, Madam President, that as you go forward with things, that don't hesitate, any of you, to reach out to the expertise that you have working with it. This team's pretty well heeled here. If it helps you be creative on setting some of these goals. As an example of it, the DDA likewise has set its own strategic plan, which is in the form of its Main Street Transformational Strategy. I think, Mr. Dandelides, those are the meetings that you alluded to at the beginning of a year ago. And part of that, we've set forth 2 transformational strategies. One is real economic in basis of like, who are we going to be that will sustain all of this long-term going forward, and recognize that. The other thing is community building, which is what you spent a lot of time discussing tonight. So there are some metrics you can set on that. I mean, some of the performance metrics that we've been discussing that are moving forward are they seem mundane, but they're very collaborative in nature. It's how many meetings can we establish that are more productive and joint. And I know Mr. Lamb and I met several times in the budget, and several of us did, and we had a committee that was formed. Those meetings were the most productive part of us solving the difficult questions and the decisions that we have, right? So the metrics for the DDA and community building are, right now, the village manager and I meet. Well, that's great, and we have great meetings, but really, is it doing the substantive, kind of that internal homework? So I'd encourage you to really think clearly about that there are metrics you can put around those things. There are different aspects of it that you can do. How many efforts does this council, the DDA, and some of the various boards that we all are affiliated with? You talked about NODA tonight. How many times are those boards sending out a joint message into print and other publications that would combat some of the negativity that we see? We've started to try to do that, but we're just one voice, and if we were all collaborative in that, you could set a metric around it that would say that for the image building of the work that we're doing, are we telling the story? Because it's so easy to have the fractures of divide amongst us, right? So I applaud you on the work you're doing. One way that all of you can help us show appreciation to the work that's being done in the community is Wednesday night. All of you have been invited, and you are invited Wednesday night at the upper floor of the Sick Pizza. I still call it 313 Sick Pizza, Scott Taylor, sorry. We will be allowing our Illuminators group to really shine. That's what they're for. We're going to be awarding 7 different nominated groups, individuals in our community that have made a significant impact on who we are and how we tell our story and how we invest. From new people that have just joined in, how do we make this community better, to scout groups, to others that are more legacy oriented. I would encourage all of you to come. When you come and when others come and we celebrate the best that we have to offer together, it becomes less of a goal and more of an identity. And the more we create identity, more that people want to be here, more they want to invest, more they want to reinvest. And so I would encourage you with all of that. Just as a quick update, nuts and bolts, we did submit our PA 57 report. Good news is that the capture values, not only for us, but for the village, were higher than anticipated. So when I prepared the report for ourselves, I know that those numbers carry through to you as well. And so you should be, your audit should reflect, as ours did, because we're part of your audit, that the financials are growing in the direction that we need them to grow. That's not happening everywhere in the state of Michigan. Michigan has fallen to 50th out of 50 in economic growth climate right now, and some of the key large indicators for economic investment and economic development. So we're in a tough space. We refiled our report. We've also filed for our accreditation in the Main Street program. You might think that that doesn't carry weight. It carries significant weight. Our ability to go after grant funding and other things is heavily dependent on that. It also is an immense positive image and reflection of this community that we have that relationship. I would set another metric for you to consider, Madam President. A goal of this council that could be a mutual shared goal of all of us would be how many joint grant opportunities do we reflect in the next calendar year? It's a metric. It's one that requires us to collaborate, and one that requires us to create positive, hard number. I know Mr. Lamb would be appreciative of hard numbers that go into those types of things of finding alternative revenue. Our strength as a community to go after arguments that were alluded to tonight, that would be how do we say to the county, you're capturing our Parks and Rec dollars and $0 come back. You don't do that by Mr. Papachek going by himself or Ms. Rutt going by himself. You do that in a collaborative way where they look and they say, yeah, that group of people in that community, look how they champion themselves. They talk critically about what they need to get done, but golly, and the big stuff, they're sending out joint media. They're sending out joint presence of the way that they champion who they are. That's how you turn political needles. You don't do it by whether we all get along or not. I know we have our difficulties in that, but that's just the business of what we do. I think Mr. Lamb's correct. Sometimes we rub each other's elbows in the wrong way, but we're all trying to do the best business. So the DDA going forward this year is going to refocus its committee structure. We are part of Ice Fest on the 7th. Janet would be remiss if I didn't say that. That will be a chance for us to, again, showcase who we are. I know I'll be calling Wes. They'll be putting out cement blocks. Hopefully, last year we had a flash freeze that came in overnight the night before, and we all kind of ran around with salt. There'll be 144 to 170 golfers, if you call them that, in the Rotary Golf Ice Challenge. For those that have participated in the past, I'll leave the public's imagination to how much fun they have. There's a chili cook-off. 7 of our restaurants are participating. There's a business Ice Fest bingo. There's a thing for kids. You can find Jack Frost. If you bring your kids, there's going to be multiple ice sculptures, including the ice carving demonstrations. We have local businesses sponsoring the ice carvings and local businesses sponsoring the volunteer night on Wednesday. We are doing a better job of getting alternative revenue ourselves and recognizing that we have to be good stewards of tax dollars as well. So I encourage you to come on Wednesday night. It's food on someone else's ticket, meaning a sponsor can pay for food, and it's going to be a really, really cool night. The awardees are not who you would expect. They're really, truly the silent warriors that make this community awesome. So I know it's more of a narrative, more of a speech type update. I would encourage you all that I'm starting to rebuild aspects of our website so it's easier to find information. Part of the information you're going to find there is our annual informational reports, our annual PA 57 reports, all of those, that type of information is going to be better there. On our front page, by time I see you again, you will see areas where if members of the community need to get service hours, it's easier for them to come find opportunities. If you want more information about the real robust accounting that we gave to the county on our grant for the lumberyard, it is all there. It's just not so easy to find. It's not hidden. It's just you got too many clicks, so to speak. So all of that's a work in progress. Budgetarily, we'll get to work on that. With that, please direct any questions that you want. Always come see me. George stops in every once in a while. You know who stops in the most is our great chief. And he's doing a phenomenal job, even as our shotgun interim manager here. Good job, chief. Last thing I'll say is this. I know that there's always a question mark of how we inform each other better. So we have, on the 4th Monday of every month, the Downtown Lowdown. Ms. Rutt came today. Mr. Dandelides has been before. I would invite any of you. We will try our best to do a better job of getting you informed of that. That's an opportunity, even for you, Mr. Lamb, to come and learn a little bit. That we talk to our business leaders, meaning the people that write the checks in this town, about the good stuff that's happening for them and the bad. If you want to get informed, like right now, several of our businesses are reporting month over month horrifically downturn in sales and economics in our village. And you would say, oh, my goodness. That's good information to know why they think it's happening, what it's happening, and then also the success side of things, things that are happening well. So I would encourage you to come to those things. You're not disallowed. You're not forbidden. You can come and, just like the rest of us, learn lots of things. So thank you for the time.
Thank you. That item 13, council comments. Mr. Ford.
Thank you. I'll do my typical Paint Creek Trail update. National Trails Day is the first Saturday in June. We got away from it a little bit because of changing over directors and stuff. And then the Labor Day walk is on Labor Day, and they're also going to do a bridge recognition on that because of the completion of the bridge number 31.7 down at the other end of the trail. Paint Creek Trail established a partnership with Wagon Wash, who's going to provide dog bags for all the trail dispensers, saving them some money, and it's just a nice partnership for them to have. And then the Bald Mountain Bridge Connector and Paint Creek Trail, which is near the Paint Creek Junction Park, work is to begin in the fall of this year. The state's been a little slow in getting back and getting their end of things taken care of. They are sending a letter out to the contributing members of a rate increase to maintain the trail. Like I said before, they're struggling with budget things too. And the final thing on Paint Creek Trail, the Mosseri project, the Eastport Village Development has requested, and they're working with the village and our attorneys, easements for water and sewer that have to go underneath the trail. So just as we've negotiated with them as a village to get that, the trail is also looking into that and their role in that development. The NODA meeting I attended, I mentioned last time, monthly rides have been up. For 2025, it's been up 11%. There's 107,778 rides. And then a major expense for them, they're going to be purchasing cameras for all the NODA vehicles. That be used for liability purposes and staff training. And I appreciate the work that everybody's put in for the goal setting and look forward to that being done. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lamb?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so the village has a really bright future, but it's an expensive one. And I'd just like to remind anybody out there in the TV land that the village has only a couple sources of revenue. The village gets tax dollars from the property owners, and the village gets money from the sewer and water bills. And that's it. There's no magic money out there. So all the money we get goes into the village. So when we talk about paying for stuff, it's not a matter of, where can we get the money? We can always get the money by reaching into the pockets of the citizens and just pay more. The hard part comes is when you say, we've only got so much money, we have to take money from someone else. Okay, or we can't build a DPW building because we want to help the citizens with their sewer and water bills. So the hard part for this council this year is for me to decide, you only get so much money, what are you going to do with it? So we could just hide our heads in the sand like we've always done and say, I've got big shoulders and I can go ahead and approve the sewer and water bill increases and the assessments and do absolutely nothing to minimize the effects on the homeowner. But I have a better picture of you guys than that, okay? And I think you're all going to come to the table and you're going to say, this is what's best for the people. So I'm anxiously looking forward to this year and working with you to do what's best for all the citizens. And like I said, my main focus is financial. I don't have any kids, no grandkids here, so I don't use the parks. I go out to dinner once a week, and, so I sit in my house and pay my bills, and I love living here. So let's keep it affordable, and let's keep working on these concrete objectives.
Mr.
Two things. First of all, I really appreciate the constructive discussion that we had tonight. I really think this is the most constructive discussion I've seen, go on in this forum since I've been involved. So anyway, I really appreciate that. And I think, Stan, I think you said you appreciated what everybody put in, and I do too. I think really great discussion tonight. The other thing I'd like to do is thank the staff. In Darwin's absence, I think you guys have done a great job of keeping things afloat and making everything happen, so thank you.
Ms. Mosher?
So, I always thank anybody who comes, although we have two today, but I'm sure people are watching us on TV land. I want to thank On TV for broadcasting our special meeting. I'm really happy that we were able to do it here, so that people that wanted to tune in could see it where we weren't off in the other room. And I want to thank the chief for taking over for Darwin, and Mr. Sanchez for getting those roads clear. And my driveway was cleared for a few days. I know, the whole DPW department is awesome, but my snowplower isn't, but that's okay. I have four-wheel drive, so I can get up the driveway. And of course, Lindsay, for being here, all the staff, you guys are amazing. So just stay warm. It's going to be cold. We're hoping to do our lake walk this weekend because it's going to be cold enough. And so I'm looking forward to that. That's always fun. We did it last year, but we weren't able to do it for several years before. So we're hoping to do that. And just stay warm, stay safe, drive carefully. This last week has been absolutely horrid with the snow. So just be careful out there. That's it.
Thank you. Mr. Pepchek?
Yeah, just a couple quick things. Yeah, it came up earlier. What do we get for our extra tax bills? And yeah, it comes to mind when you see the roads being cleared, I think pretty quickly and promptly, and salted, and keeping up with all this weather. That's really noticeable when you drive throughout the township versus the village. I think that really pays off. Things like that hit home, at police support, things like that. These are noticeable things, I think, that we don't maybe recognize enough. But, and then I'm thinking too, as I was walking around town a month or so ago, all the downed trees, right? We had them across our street. They're all over the cemetery. Who do you think cleans all that up and makes things the way they should be again? Yeah, there's a lot of effort and great work that goes into that by the DPW crew and everybody. Sidewalks, some of that's a little more on us. I walked here, my feet are still cold. So some are better than others about keeping up on those things, but it is what it is. I do it to myself, but I enjoy that. Then the last thing, yeah, hopefully if there are, I understand this isn't the biggest crowd we've had here, but I understand because of the weather and everything else. Hopefully our TV ratings are really strong today. I'm thinking a lot of people are tuning in for this one, but we want the feedback. I think, we talked a lot about goals. And to Mr. Lamb's comments, there's going to have to be decisions with the finite money that's there. I think we all like to hear from people. Where do you want it? Where do you see the big needs? You got to pick and choose. We can't feed everything. Where are the best uses of that? If we're on track, if there's something we haven't thought of, always open to emails, things like that, and hoping to get more.
Thank you. With the sidewalks, I also walked here today. I walked in the street for half of it.
Yeah.
Knock on your neighbor's door. If you, have the energy and the time, knock on, and you see your neighbor doesn't have their sidewalk shoveled, go knock on. It's one thing I love about Lake Orion is people look out for one another, and we are a community, and so look out for your neighbors who may need a little bit of extra help to get some of those sidewalks cleared off. I know our police department might be going around doing a little look to kind of see tomorrow where we have some trouble issues. So, yeah, do your best, help each other out, but I also experienced that as well. Just want to reiterate the volunteer night, or the appreciation night, and the Light Up Lake Orion on Wednesday from 6 to 8. You'll really get to see, if you come, and I hope you do, people who deeply love this community, who have poured hours of time. I know we do that as well, but we aren't the only ones who contribute to the community and volunteer and put their time into making this a great space. And so come meet them, celebrate. Our business owners as well, as Mr. Gibb mentioned, I went to the lowdown today, and hearing from our business members that even though they've had a few rough months and up and down roller coaster months, they love being here. They love being in Lake Orion. They could have chosen, not all of them reside in the village. They could have chosen to go to Oxford or Rochester or Clarkston, and yet they chose to put their business here in Lake Orion because we are an amazing and unique community. And I appreciate everything those business owners do and give back to this community as well. So from the residents to the volunteers, even volunteers who live outside of the downtown, and our business owners, we are a great community. And yes, we feel the squeeze in different places, but I know that we all want the best for this village and working together towards that. I also believe that the DDA will be submitting some things for the Planning Commission with the Lake Orion Lumberyard project that I think needs to be submitted in person tomorrow because something with online wasn't functioning properly for that application. So look forward to seeing some of those coming up soon with the lumberyard and the plans for the lumberyard. And with that, everybody continue to stay warm and manage your comments. And thank you for filling in. Almost done.
It was fun. Okay, as acting village manager, I just want to give a couple quick updates and then we can move on. But speaking of all the great praise on DPW and the salt, just want to explain there's a salt shortage and delivery shortage that's going on. So MDOT and multiple suppliers have notified communities statewide of a significant road salt shortage affecting the availability, but mostly the delivery timelines because of the demand. Public safety remains our top priority, so I want everyone here and in this room and the hundreds at home to know that we are doing everything we can to maintain safe road conditions while managing the limited supply. DPW is adjusting winter operations by prioritizing primary roads and emergency routes and reducing application rates of salt where appropriate, increasing mechanical plowing to offset, and closely monitoring the weather conditions to ensure that proper material is put out when it's most effective. The good news is the village expects an updated salt delivery by the end of this week. So we should be back on track by next week, but as we all know, this is a rough week with the weather, as the cold looks like it's going to continue into the week and into next week as well. But they are continuing to update their operations in real time and monitoring and closely tracking the situation with the salt. Secondly, Sunday, January 18th, about 1 a.m., DPW did respond, was notified by the police department and responded to a water main break near 588 East Flint. It was a service line break on our village water system. The water was shut off, intermittently shut off in the area while the repair was being made, and the DPW did complete the repair, and the water was turned back on around noon, so we had about 9 hours of water shut down. Keep in mind, the one thing I want to recognize is there was a lot of water. Obviously, the water's pouring up from the ground, and it was 30-mile-an-hour wind gusts and -10 wind chill factor while they repaired these lines. I also want to thank the staff here that supported me while I was the acting manager. Lindsay, for example, this is her off day. Sonia got stuck with the weather and her travel, and I don't know where she is right now. Hopefully she'll be back soon. As she navigates there's a lot of airline cancellations over the last couple days. And as long as there's no airline cancellations going on, your lovely village manager will be returning back to the office Wednesday, January 28th. And that, along with some other important dates with upcoming meetings between now and the next council meeting, are here. And I want to thank you for the opportunity to serve as your acting village manager. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we have no closed session, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
We have a motion, support, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Meeting's adjourned.